Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international etiquette consultant, author of etiquette books and pre-recorded online courses. In today's video, we're in a beautiful Four Seasons hotel here in Baku, and I'm going to be showing you how to act in a buffet setting, be it for a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. All the essentials you need to know about the etiquette of buffet. So the very first rule that it comes to applying in buffet etiquette, very similar to travel etiquette or airport or public transportation etiquette, is respecting the line. Do not cut the line. That's the most important part of being well-mannered at a buffet, is making sure that you are mindful of people that were in front of you, before you in the line, and those that are behind you. Unless, and the exception goes only to, if you are only going, for example, to be eating the main course, you want to skip the salad bar, you want to skip the appetizer bar, you want to skip maybe the soup bar, you only want to get your main course, then you can head directly to the main course section and select your food from there. But if you are standing in line and you're not sure if you want to get some salad, maybe some appetizer, maybe you want to get yourself some soup, you haven't yet decided, then you stand up in the line and respect the flow of the line. Moving on, and still on the point of respecting the line, the second important rule of buffet etiquette is making sure that you move in the right direction. The right direction can be just one way. Maybe there's like laid out service plates in front of you and there's only one line that you can strictly follow. Sometimes some buffets are so big that there are two-way lines. So you have a serving plate and then you have serving utensils on both sides of the serving plate, which means one can approach a service plate from both sides. In that case, you can of course move in two directions, but in order to understand what is the direction like, always observe the serving utensils. If there's only one on the right-hand side, then you're going to walk on the right-hand side. If there are on two lines, then obviously you can go from both sides of the serving plate. In order to understand what is the right direction of the movement or the right direction of the buffet, you have to observe the serving utensils. If the serving utensils are on the right-hand side, that means everyone is moving from that right-hand side. Sometimes some buffets are so big that there are two different directions in which people move. So you'll have a serving plate, say, of rice, and you'll have serving utensils on both sides of the serving plate. That means that people from both sides can pick up the food. In that case, that is the buffet that has two directions. So you have to look and observe where people are walking, but also pay attention to the serving utensils. If there are two, that means there are two directions. The third important rule when it comes to buffet etiquette is being decisive. There's nothing more annoying than a person who is lingering over a service plate, thinking if they should get something or not, making their decisions right on spot over the plate while the whole line of people is waiting for them. I would suggest that if you are someone who is taking time to make the decision, go take a walk around the buffet. Take a look at what they have to offer. Make up your mind, think of what you want to get, observe the food if you need to. Then go pick up the plate, and then with the plate, go exactly to what you have picked and make your decision fast. The next important rule of buffet etiquette is not being a picker. What I mean by that is, don't be that someone who strips away the salad from all its one great ingredient that everyone is craving for. Say, this is a salad that has, Brussels sprouts in it, and everyone wants those Brussels sprouts in it. You're the one who picked just the Brussels sprouts from the salad and left the salad without any Brussels sprouts. This is a crime against humanity. If you want to share food with others, you have to understand that buffet is for everyone to enjoy. And when you're picking a little bit, a small portion of something, it has to contain all the ingredients from that communal plate. You can't just handpick the ingredients you want to eat and leave that salad or that appetizer or that main course without that main ingredient. It's the same thing when it comes to cutting cheese. When you're having a brie or any kind of triangular shaped cheese, you have to make sure that you cut in the right direction, and that is along those vertical lines and not horizontal. Because in that case, if you cut from horizontally, you're stripping the top part of brie, which is the yummiest part, and taking it for yourself and leaving the rest of the cheese for others to enjoy, which is disrespectful towards the others. You have to make it vertical cut. You have to make the vertical cut so that everyone gets to enjoy the full flavor of the cheese. The same goes to buffet etiquette. Serve yourself the whole portion. Don't handpick ingredients. The next important rule is making sure that you use the right serving utensils to serve yourself. You can't use your own utensils, your own fork, knife, spoon, whatever it is that you're using at the table. You can't use that. when you are taking food from a communal dish. You have to make sure that you're using the serving utensils. They're usually laid by the side, and you can see that they are usually larger in size. Most restaurants have larger serving utensils that are for the bigger plates. It could be a big serving fork, a big serving spoon, or sometimes it could be a combination of half fork and half spoon that is tied together like scissors. They're almost like clamshells. So they're used to pick up spaghetti, sometimes some salads are served with that serving spoon and fork. Other times there might be nothing to serve yourself. For example, you have a whole basket of bread rolls and you don't have any serving utensils for that. In that case, if those are individual rolls, you can use your fingers to take an individual roll and place it on your plate. But make sure that the bread that you have handpicked with your fingers or touched with your fingers, that you actually transfer to your plate. You can never put it to your plate, make up your mind that you don't want it and put it back. Whatever your fingers have touched from a communal plate should go to your own plate. The same goes for any individual servings like cinnamon rolls, maybe croissant, maybe muffins, anything that is doughy that has an individual size portion that you can just pick one and transfer it to your plate. You can, in that case, use just your fingertips, but make sure that you don't touch anything else that you're not serving yourself. The next important etiquette rule when it comes to buffet, and this is the rule I see being broken the most, and that is piling your food on your plate. Please do not ever do that. This is not aesthetically pleasant to watch. This just makes you look like you're hungry for food, you can't get enough. Even if buffet is all you can eat, that means you can go back and take some more, and you can go back many times. You don't have to pile up the food on your plate. Mix salad, dessert, main course, everything in one plate. You can go a couple of rounds and go pick your main course individually, your appetizer, your salad, and then your dessert individually. That's what I recommend you doing. If you want to have maybe a little bit of each, you can mix your salad, appetizer, and main course on one plate, but dessert goes in a different plate. The next important rule goes together with do not pile food on your plate, and that is organize your plate. Imagine if you have a bigger main course plate, imagine divided into 4 parts, so you can create visual compartments on your plate. First of all, it's aesthetically pleasant for you to watch when you lay your food like that, but also when you take a seat at the table with other people enjoying your lunch or dinner, say this is a networking event, imagine how neat your plate looks like. If you have a little bit of salad, a little bit of side dish, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of appetizer here. So it's very clean and neatly organized, and people pay attention to this. It's okay if you want to get another portion, maybe you want a bigger portion of main course, then you can create a smaller plate for yourself of just salads and appetizers, and then go for a next plate, go pick up a next plate and lay it out with the main course if you want a bigger portion. Speaking of portions, we're coming to the next rule, and that is if you're ever in doubt, take a spoonful of something that you have never tasted before. Imagine you are at a buffet where there's all different kind of dishes and cuisines represented, and say you've never ever had an Indian cuisine. You don't know what curry tastes like, you don't know what basmati rice tastes like. What you have to do is, if you want to give it a try, you can transfer just a spoonful of that, take a seat, enjoy it, take a bite. If you like it, you can go back to take some more. But do not take something that you're not familiar with in a big portion, because what happens then is you don't eat it and that food is wasted. First of all, it doesn't look pleasant to watch when there is a whole table filled with piles and piles of food that's not eaten. And second of all, it's very wasteful. Keep going along with not wasting any food. Be mindful of not piling up your plates on your arms. I've seen people do it in so many occasions where they would be holding one plate in one hand, another plate in the other, and trying to balance another plate on their forearm. And I have seen this done in a very luxury, very beautiful hotels around the world. And it made me ponder as to why would people be acting like they're so hungry for food. You know, it's not the first time they're enjoying a buffet, I imagine. And even if so, why can't they just go back and pick some more if they need to? I think sometimes people are just too lazy to serve themselves, so they would just try to get as much food as they can on one go so they can take a seat and have everything laid out. First of all, very wasteful, because most likely you're not going to be able to eat it all. And second of all, it doesn't look very pleasing to watch when you're so hungry for food, like you have to pile everything on your plate and on your forearm and arm and hands to bring it. So make sure that you pick 1 or 2 plates per go, and then you can go for more portions and for more plates if you need to. The next important rule when it comes to buffet etiquette is knowing when to pick up your utensils. Sometimes utensils are also laid out in a buffet style, so they're either going to be at the beginning or at the end of the buffet. The logical line is to actually have the utensils stationed at the end of the line, so once you're done picking up the food, you can then pick the utensils you need to eat with that food. But sometimes that's not the case. You'll see that some buffets have their utensils servings at the beginning, so you have to pick them up and then go pick the food. In that case, I will suggest go take your food first, because you don't know what you're going to be eating, so you don't know if you need a spoon or not. So you'll take your food first and then go back in line and take your serving utensils. It also makes it easier for you to balance the plate, because you don't have to hold onto your utensils on one hand. This is unless you have a tray. If you get to pick a tray, put your utensils and then pick the dish, then you're good to go. You can then obviously take the tray, utensils, and then the plate. Sometimes some restaurants actually have the utensils and glasses and plates all laid out on a table, so the only thing you actually have to do is take a plate from the serving bar, go take your food, and then come to your table and have everything ready for you. The next important etiquette rule when it comes to enjoying a buffet style lunch or dinner is ensuring that the table that you're eating at is very clean and neat, because with service plate we're used to being served with a plate of dish and then that plate is removed by the waiter. But here we go pick up the plate on our own. Sometimes there'll be waiting staff that will clean the table for you, but sometimes they'll just have you eat, your appetizer, your main course, your dessert, and then the table will be cleared away. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to be mindful of how many plates you're using and how your table looks from the side to those around you, because that gives a lot of impression of who you are as a person, how mannered you are. So in that case, I always recommend that if you can reuse a plate, reuse it. So say you took a plate of bread and some cheese, and you had that as your appetizer. Once you're done with that, your plate is essentially clean. You can use the same plate, go take salad. If the salad comes with a sauce or dressing, obviously you can't reuse it for a main course. But if it was a dry salad that didn't have any sauce or anything like that, you can finish the salad and reuse it for the main course. In that case, your table will look very clean, because you're only going to have one plate at the table. But of course, if you had a main course that had a lot of dressing in it or some sauce on the side, your plate is now not reusable, so to speak. In that sense, you have to leave that plate on the table, go take another plate and take your dessert. You can always, if there's waiting staff around, you can always delicately ask the waiter to change or to clean your table so it doesn't look messy when you're seated at that table. And to call the waiter gently, what you have to do is ensure that you have an eye contact with the waiter, slightly raise your finger if you need to, maintain the eye contact or look at the waiter until they look back at you, and then gesture that you would like to have your plates removed. And in that case, you'll have a cleaner space to eat at, and I think from the side, when the people walk by your table, it's going to look very clean and organized, and that says a lot about who you are as a person. And of course, when it comes to any kind of dinner or dining, be it casual, be it formal, be it service plated, buffet, family style, you have to observe good table manners. I've actually done a whole video on dining etiquette that was shot also here in Four Seasons in Baku in a beautiful setting, where I show how to properly eat according to Western formal dining etiquette. And I've actually done an extensive pre-recorded online etiquette course about enjoying a formal dining, also was shot in Four Seasons Hotel in a presidential suite. So if you want to check it out, it's available on my website. I'll link it here as well in the description box below, and you can watch the YouTube video as well on my YouTube channel in the playlist all about etiquette. And when it comes to good table manners, it's one of the most important, I would say, essential soft skills that you might need to have in life. Because imagine majority of the time that we are meeting someone, be it professionally, personally, for business, in any way, is usually over the food. We socialize over food, we make business decisions over a meal, we meet our potential date over a meal, because majority of the time we spend with other people is through socializing over food. And in order to make sure that you make the best possible impression of yourself, you really have to master good table manners. And that was actually it for what I thought about buffet etiquette, but my videographer mentioned something that I didn't think of it. It didn't even occur to me that that's possible, but if he mentioned it, probably it is possible. If you ever find yourself contemplating to put back the food that you haven't eaten from your own service plate back to the buffet. Never ever do that. I haven't ever actually seen anyone do that, but in case you're contemplating that, okay, I haven't eaten this muffin, let me put it back to the buffet. Never ever ever do that. That's against the rules of buffet etiquette. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, give the thumbs up because it helps me understand what kind of content you enjoy watching. By the way, if you're interested in learning more in depth about etiquette, you can purchase my etiquette books that are available on my website for international shipment. You can also join my pre-recorded etiquette courses. One is called Western Formal Dining Etiquette from A to Z, that will take you from the moment you exit the car up until you finish with your desserts. It's going to explain you everything you need to know about a formal dinner. And the second course is called The Art of Entertaining at Home, where I'm teaching you how to set up a table according to the 4 different seasons, how to wrap different kinds of gifts, and just prepares you to host people over. And if you want to learn even more in the etiquette, you can join my Patreon Etiquette Movie Club, where every month I feature different kind of movie analysis from an etiquette standpoint of view. This is an exclusive content that's only available for my patrons on Patreon Etiquette Movie Club. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!